The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus went across the Sea of Galilee, and a large crowd followed him because they saw the signs he was performing on the sick. Jesus went up on the mountain, and there he sat down with his disciples. The Jewish feast of Passover was near. When Jesus raised his eyes and saw that a large crowd was coming to him, he said to Philip, "Where can we buy enough food for them to eat?" He said this to test him, because he himself knew what he was going to do. Philip answered him, 200 days' wages worth of food would not be enough for each of them to have a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, the brother of Simon Peter, said to him, "There is a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish, but what good are these for so many?" Jesus said, "Have the people recline." Now there was a great deal of grass in that place, so the men reclined, about 5,000 in number. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed them to those who were reclining, and also as much of the fish as they wanted. When they had their fill, he said to his disciples, "Gather the fragments left over so that nothing will be wasted." So they collected them and filled 12 wicker baskets with fragments from the 5 barley loaves that had been more than they could eat. When the people saw the sign he had done, they said, "This is truly the prophet, the one who is to come into the world." Since Jesus knew that they were going to come and carry him off to make him king, he withdrew again to the mountain alone. The Gospel of the Lord. We heard this morning about a good and just man by the name of Gamaliel. He was a Pharisee. The Pharisees really knew the law in depth, but they were very ordinary. They didn't set themselves up as being great, whereas the Sadducees, they had a lot of wealth and power and connections, and they especially wanted to maintain good relationships with the occupying Roman power. And so they saw Jesus, or they saw the disciples of Jesus, as a threat to their positions of prestige and power. And they wanted to get rid of the disciples as they got rid of Jesus. And Gamaliel was a very, very wise man. He was absolutely loved by the community in which he lived at that time. And maybe he had heard Jesus, but he certainly had heard about him. And he said, "Just hold off. What if this man is for real? Or the disciples are for real? What if they're of God, and that Jesus they're preaching about was also of God? What are we doing? And if they are from God, then our power will not be able to prevent them from doing what they believe they are called to do." But the Sadducees still flogged the disciples and let them out of prison. Gamaliel, though, is a great example to us of a wise person, a person who had common sense. What he basically said was, let's wait and see in this situation. Let's see how it turns out. If they're from God, we can't stop them. If they're not from God, they're going to simply not accomplish too much. And isn't that what all of us need in life? That kind of common sense. Sometimes the wait and see attitude. How often have we shot off at our mouth in a situation that was maybe filled with a lot of emotion, where we said things and then afterwards said, how stupid could I have been? The same thing with actions, where sometimes we've done actions and realized afterwards, I was really stupid and wrong. Why did I do this? It happens in very human relationships. It happens in the home. It happens at work. It happens even in church. And what is lacking there is basic common sense. But that's not just a human trait. It's something that is given to us by God through the power of the Spirit. Let's reflect on that today. Let's go back a little bit on our lives and remember 1 or 2 or 3 times where we lacked common sense and hurt ourselves and hurt others. And just ask the Spirit, going forward, give me a greater common sense attitude to life and relationships.